things to pack for tomorrow. I do not need any tables or tent, weights, any of that. I just need my display and my items. Hey friends, here real quick to just record a few thoughts. I've got lots of things to catch you up on. My mom is here visiting and I just have not had time to sit down and record. So I have shows to go over. I have prep to go over. I have the introductory stuff for the North Carolina yarn tour to go over. But I just wanted to recap a couple thoughts from my show yesterday. Gosh, I don't even know what day it is. So today is Sunday, June 15th, as of recording this. I did a show yesterday. And I know we all experience this where people will look at something, pick something up, and say they'll come back and get it. But yesterday, it really got under my skin that these individuals, I had a bunch of interest in a dragon, my red and black dragon. Somebody kept coming back and said they would come back and buy it. And then somebody else picked up all my loveys and were like, oh, I need to find out the theme for such and such as baby's nursery. And they're like, I will text her right now and I will come back and find something within the theme. And it just kept happening over and over and over. And none of these people returned. And it just really got under my skin yesterday. And I'm just curious how you work through some of those things. People always say that they're going to look at something and come back. And it happens. But for whatever reason, yesterday, it just really got to me. And I just wanted to take a minute to talk that out and ask for some feedback and how you work through some of those struggles. I don't even know how to phrase that. Letdown, the anticipation of a sale, just that the frustration of being led on. Maybe that's it. I'm just still trying to work through this 24 hours later. And it just still, for whatever reason, that show just really frustrated me. So I will be back. My mom flies out on Thursday, and then life should get somewhat back to our routine. I have another show on Saturday that I've been asked to participate in, and I'm waiting for some information on shows that I've been invited to after they've seen me at some recent events. So I have a few more extra things going on, especially since the cancellation and the refunds from the other organizer that ended up not working out. I'm not even sure if I've shared that with you guys. Another crocheter that I talked about in a prior video had reached out saying, I'm the crocheter that you're talking about. And she told me the same thing she told you, that I was going to be the only crocheter. I disclosed it on my application. And apparently this has happened to multiple other individuals. So whether it was truly personal reasons that this organizer canceled all future events or due to complaints from other vendors, this is something that all future shows for this organizer are canceled. I had booked one in July and I had booked one in December for this event because when you booked so many, you got a price break. So there we go. Definitely find out, there's multiple sides to the story. While I hadn't gotten that other crocheter's, that other shop name, she was searching for something else on YouTube and stumbled across my video. And I'm glad that she said something because it certainly paints that organization in a different light, and certainly not somebody that I want to work with if that's the way that they deal with the vendors. She's a vendor herself, and it seems that she's more in it for her exposure as opposed to the ethical show. But that's not why I came on here right this moment. Working through yesterday's and from kind of processing through all of that, and the constant setup and letdown of I'm going to, be back for XYZ. And it's just not happening. It was an enclosed event. So like these people walked past my booth for 5 hours and never completed this sale. So just curious how you work with that, and what tips you have for some of those struggles, because for whatever reason yesterday is just eating at me a little bit more than usual for those kind of events. So, all right, I need to finish up some custom orders. I have one of my coworkers for my diabetes education job has requested a number of little headphone dangly things. So I have made some lemons for her. I just finished some cherries, and now I am working on a set of blue strawberries. I made red strawberries for her at Christmas time, and now she has requested blue ones. So I need to get that up and finish those. Hey friends, it is Saturday, June 21st, and this will end up being a montage of a couple of different shows and, a catch-up video since things have been fairly quiet. My mom flew home on Thursday after being here for 3 weeks. She came right before the kids' dance recital, and so we've been entertaining her. We made a quick trip to Disney and we drove down on Tuesday after our nail appointment, did Magic Kingdom on Wednesday, drove home on Thursday. I then worked right again on Friday after working Monday. So whirlwind trip there. And then I did the show last weekend, which I did a quick recap there for that quarter auction. And then I did the show today. Today was at a assisted living, which I was shared the event through a mutual friend outside essentially the town that we go to church in, about 45 minutes away. Yes, I drive to 45 minutes away to go to church because I really live in the middle of nowhere, and in order to get a Catholic English Mass at a convenient time, and for my children to attend a youth education class at a time that doesn't conflict with dance, we drive 45-50 minutes to church. So this is what we do. Unfortunately, there was absolutely no foot traffic. None. Zilch. Zippo. I sold 7 items total from 10 to, we started tearing down at 2:30. It was supposed to go till 3. However, I was one of the last people to tear down. Everybody else was gone except for me and a book reseller. She did one of those kind of blind date books to where she kind of partially gives you a genre and wraps the book really cool, and then you just kind of blind date with this book. Her and I were the only two left outside of the silent auction for this. I was on a highway running on the outskirts of town. It just traffic wasn't there. The families of the individuals that live at the assisted living, I do not know what happened. Apparently there was a Juneteenth celebration happening in town. I was told that foot traffic was absolutely terrible there as well. One of the vendors had a shop or a booth at that location as well, and there wasn't any foot traffic. I don't know. I am so beyond frustrated at the way that the 2025 season is playing out for us. It is I don't even know how to describe it. I don't want to say it's a waste of time. I love what I do. It gets me out of the house because otherwise I don't get out of the house. But I really need to make some money. The tax people are not going to be very happy when they see, the entire losses that this year has been. And it's just so frustrating. I don't know that I can have a good enough fall to make up for the entire losses that the first half of the year has been. And that is extremely frustrating. I'm going to have to majorly pivot and focus on something else. I don't know that I want to focus on the pattern writing, but maybe I need to. I have patterns out there that I just don't have the social media following, and so therefore I do not get the people clicking or following through on the purchases. So even the pattern that I've put out there hasn't had that follow through. So none of my typical sellers sold today. It really was a huge hodgepodge of things. People who, this is stereotyping, people who drove up in super fancy cars told their children they had spent too much money on the lemonade they had bought 2 stands down and refused to buy them anything. Yet they left in cars that the doors winged. Like, hello, I've got a minivan with sliding doors. Your car doors wing like Batman. Hello. Whatever, but your lemonade was too expensive. Okay, so I sold a couple of epoxy pens. I sold a pair of epoxy paw print earrings. I sold a ladybug donut. I sold a teal and blue chunky axolotl, not even the standard axolotl, a chunky one. I sold a cup charm, and I sold a set of 6 epoxy dominoes. So today my epoxy stuff, which takes up a quarter, a fifth, a sixth, I don't even know, a very small segment of my booth is what I sold more of than anything. I sold 2 crochet items. That was it. That's the majority of, that is my stand displays. That is 3 of my tables. That is the majority of a 10 by 10 booth, plus all the extra little things that sit outside my booth. Yet the small, tiniest little footprint is what I sold the most of today. So that's what it is. I have thrown my name in a hat for a Harry Potter theme event next month with a children's community theater. It would just be a small 6-foot table indoors with just the themed items. So that could be fun. I am waiting to hear if I am one of the five vendors I think they're looking at that is chosen for that event. So if that's the case, I would just kind of beef up my dragons, cats, dragons, I said dogs again. Dragons, cats, snakes, owls. I'd make some snitches, and some of those other magical beasts and things like that. So that could be a whole lot of fun. We certainly have our themed outfits and all of that we could do. So we'll see if that happens. I last weekend was asked about doing a pet rescue fundraiser indoors at the town that my daughters dance at in August. However, I've reached out to who I think took my business card, and they have not followed up. They said they would get a hold of me. I had then checked in with the event organizers for where I was last weekend and said, this person contacted me. They haven't followed up. She said, well, it's probably Rita's Rescue, but they haven't acknowledged my message. So we will see. I don't know what time this is or anything else. I don't know any further details other than the date. I can't just show up somewhere and stake out a place. So we will see what happens there. So I made 3 axolotls during my time today, but it's now the last week of the month, and so I need to work to not only make up time for my decreased hours the first part of the month while my mom was here and running around doing all the extra fun stuff with her, and then finish up all the charting and bonus extra stuff that comes along with the end of the month push. So it is what it is. Once again, another disappointing show, and I just really would like to get out of this cycle. Are there too many events going on? Are organizers just feeling like these as money makers and therefore not putting in the time and the effort for this? Where is the break? Is it a communication thing? Is it a marketing thing? Is it a buyer? Is it the economy? Is it, where is the breakdown here? I see that there are other people who are still having $1,000 events this spring. So where is this mismatch happening? I'm kind of at a loss. So I'm going to have to regroup and figure out what is going on. And we'll have to figure that out. I will do the NC Yarn Tour information at a different time. I am hot, stinky, sweaty from our day's events. It was a heat index of like 104 or something out there today. It did have an occasional really nice breeze, and we did well. Our van, we parked right behind our booth. We was in an open field right in front of this skilled or assisted living facility. So we then kind of draped aside from the tent we hooked it onto the roof rack on the van. So then we had some extra shade behind our booth that helped keep everything shaded. So that worked out really well. But it's a hot day, and the food truck didn't show up. Apparently they had a family emergency. So we didn't have a whole lot to eat, and it's just so hot you just don't even feel like eating. So it's time to, now that we're starting to cool off, it's time to get some real food and get changed. So I will catch up with you guys at a later time, and certainly if you've got some questions, drop them in the comments. Sorry it's been so long, but certainly it's been crazy. I know this is certainly a crazy time of year for many And while it always feels like summer should be slower, it never is. It never is. It's just something that we always fool ourselves with every year. So you guys take care, and I will talk to you next time.